Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time we move forward to our next segment, another keynote address. And joining us on stage is a revered industry personality. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Joining us on stage is Mr. Akhilesh Tuteja, Global Head Cybersecurity at KPMG. Come on, let's double up our applause for him. A very warm welcome and looking forward to your address.
Thank you so much. Can I have my laptop connected here? Okay, all right. Can you hear me or I need a microphone? Okay, you can give me a handheld mic. This one is better? Perfect, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'll try very hard. The girl has not been very successful in getting you up to speed, but good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. No applause because I haven't done anything so far. I don't deserve anything. But if you can give me a clicker, I will try and connect. Kar diya aapne usko? Perfect. Okay, so I thought I'll talk to you today about a topic which some of you. I'll remove this. This is why is it coming here? Okay. For those of you who understand Hindi, I thought I'll put it saying AI hame kis mode pe le aaya. So we'll talk about saying where are we with the journey of AI and where we are likely to go. I'm going to be very fast because I need to be downstairs in 20 minutes. So I'll try and see what I can do, which will also mean that I'll bore you for fewer minutes than what I thought I will originally do. All right, so who am I? A little bit of, it's not working. So have you connected the USB? No. So, a quick intro. I call myself technology tourist because I'm not an expert. So I'm the guy who's not a guide, just roams around things, pick up things, and I'll talk about it to all of you. I also like to say that I'm below average consultant, but I'm an above average storyteller. So hopefully some stories will stick with you today and we'll talk about what we want to do from here on. So what is AI busy doing these days? When all of these great people coming from different countries, they are putting a lot of money. What is AI actually doing? So let me start with what AI is doing in personal life. So first of all, AI is building a smart bed which will save your relationship. So what this smart bed basically does that if your partner snores, it actually detects snoring and does a mild vibration so that she or he wakes up. If that doesn't work, then it goes into the stage 2 and it shakes violently, and if that also doesn't work, they're working on an attachment so that it'll punch him or her in the face so that you stop snoring. So this is called a smart bed to save your relationship from breaking. This is smart toilet, which is not yet there in production, but the smart toilet will have all the capabilities of starting from saying it can measure your weight because you can sit on it. It can actually figure out how big you've grown since yesterday. Based on your daily routine, once it receives the exhaust from your body, it'll be able to actually calculate the infection. So you don't need to do any stool test, blood test, etc. It can also have the ability to do kidney function test. It'll also test your metabolism, looking at the fluidity and the solidity of the exhaust which you have from your body. It'll tell you saying, what did you eat? Did you have dehydration? Are you not drinking enough water? Or are you just eating too many cookies sitting in an INFOCOM conference? So it'll detect all of that. And then it'll also tell you what's your glucose content. So don't eat all those big desserts and try and eat healthy salad. And what it'll not just tell you what it is, it'll also tell your refrigerator that don't order white bread, order brown bread, because that's what you should be doing. And hopefully it'll also every day nudge you saying, hey, yesterday you were looking okay, but today you're not looking. So basically creating an integrated system where the actions are all built in. That's what the AI is doing today. For those of you who play golf, Garmin watch already there. What it basically does is it picks up every golf club move which you make, saying how good or bad you are. But that's not where the world ends. It actually tracks which location you are. Am I playing at DLF Golf Club? What is the wind direction? What is the wind speed? And it'll figure out saying what is this best club I should be using. So this is another one where AI is moving away from just giving me information to actually giving me decision and direction on what I should be doing. So these are all things happening in our personal life, and this really is a great app which does all of this. But I'll tell you that, why AI has become such a big fuss right now, okay? As those of you who've studied AI for a long time, AI didn't exist yesterday. It's been about 70-year-old technology. 1950s, the number of university came up with the Dartmouth was known for creating AI as a term, which they coined in 1950s. And then suddenly something very interesting happened. ELIZA, which is a paper at MIT, it basically said that AI is good. They didn't call it AI at that point in time. It says it's good, but it can't solve the XOR problem, which is the simplest problem the human mind could easily solve. And that produced what is typically called the first AI winter. And all the funding on AI stopped. And for nearly about 10 years, AI did not receive any funding and life was bad again. Again, resurgence, there's a new AI excitement because the neural networks come now. The neural network says, it mimics like a human brain and it can do many, many things. But interestingly, when the neural networks had about 10 years of great excitement, something very interesting happened. Marvin Minsky, I think the guy who was considered the founder of this, actually is credited to be saying that, we will have an AI which will look and mimic like a human brain in next 5 to 7 years. And when a big scientist make a prediction like this saying next 5 to 7 years, we will mimic human brain, people start to put in a lot of money. And unfortunately, nothing happened in 5 to 7 years. And that caused what I call the second AI winter. And now which we are into what I call the modern AI era right now, which we've got the modern AI age. Great stuff is happening, and I'll talk about some of this. But interestingly, not just ChatGPT, which created a lot of interesting evolution, DeepSeek, which created another level of disruption. And I'm sure when I come to you guys next, I'll have another disruption. So this has been the journey of AI. So I want to come saying, "Ye kahan aa gaye hum?" And where will you go from here? Okay, let's talk about where we'll go from here. And let's get into this. These are the 3 stages of AI evolution which you've all lived in. 1997, 2006, 2017. This is when AI kind of beat human on a rule-based game. Chess, rule-based, you can... IBM Deep Blue, those of you who IBM built this thing are very proud of it, that Gary Kasparov lost it. In fact, by the way, Gary Kasparov was asked saying that, would you like to play against the AI, or they call it Deep Blue, for a tournament? And he said, yes. He says, we'll give you an option that even if you lose, we'll give you 50% of the prize money. And he was angry. He says, why would I get 50% of the prize money for free if I don't win it? Because I'll win it. And we all know he didn't win. And that was the rule-based game. But then Watson again came in, and this was game of Jeopardy, where there were no rules. It's all about the humongous knowledge. The game of Jeopardy basically says, I'll give you the answer and you need to give me the question. And again, AI won at that point in time. And this one is the most interesting, and I'll talk about the AlphaGo. The game of AlphaGo, let me just kind of go maybe a couple of slides ahead. The game of Go looks like chess, but not chess. So in the chess, you got 8 by 8 keyboard. It's 19 by 19 board. In a chess, typically there are about few billion moves you have at any point in time in the game. In this, they say at any point in time, there are about 10 to the power 170 permutation of a game. So effectively, this game isn't played like rule game. This game is played like an intuition. Like it's a combination of chess, poker, and everything else put together. This game is being played in China for many, many years. I think we still haven't grown up to play this one. And this game, the objective is that you need to win against your opponent by surrounding your tokens. So if you are playing black, so you surround yourself with this and the enemy loses. So the concept of wedging and doing many things. Now Lee Sedol is the guy who's been a player and he's been the world champion of Go. He was asked to say, will he play against AlphaGo, the Google DeepMind, which is now we know. And he says, of course I'll play. Now as you can see the results, he's an amazing guy. He's won 900 games and lost only 400, world champion at that point in time. The first game, of course he's very confident, but interestingly he loses spectacularly. The first game of Go. And the program which is playing against him has only been trained for about 40 days. That's the kind of learning journey which is at. But what happens interestingly in the second game, when this move is going on here, in the second game, move 37, at that point in time, AlphaGo makes a move. And the spectators, they all say, what a stupid move. Because that kind of move has never been made. It looked very counterintuitive. And interestingly, that move baffled Lee Sedol, and he lost it because of that move, which was considered to be a move no human ever made. It's actually called, now in the AI parlance, the God's move. It says that the AI did not learn from humans, it learned from the God. We don't know why it played it. And that was the move which actually made Lee Sedol lose. But that's not where the story ends. If the story ended there, we'll all go home. The story goes further on. After having lost the first game, the second game, and third game, and the fourth game, Lee Sedol plays exactly the God's move. And he wins against the machine. So the point I'm trying to make is that AI is no longer just learning from us. AI is making us learn. And that is where the transition is. We no longer are telling computers, do ABC, because we know it all. We no longer are the only preserver of intelligence. So far, the entire intelligence has largely been concentrated in the minds of humans. And that is changing, my dear friends, that it is now becoming a different, where there's going to be another species, considering alien for us, which will have a different level of intelligence and not only learn from us, but will also teach us. So these are the 3 stages of evolution. I'm sure many vendors who play in AI would have told you that now the world is all about agentic AI. I really believe that the world is about agentic AI. So we have lived through the information zone, we have lived through decision, but the problem with AI giving decision is humans. The biggest problem AI faces today is human inaction. It keeps giving me decision, but I do nothing about it. You look at your phone after 2 hours of meeting and it's got 7 notifications, right? Maybe after 4 hours, got 17 notifications, and then you say dismiss. All those great decisions the computer thought were important, I did do nothing about that. And I live in what's called the notification fatigue. And therefore, I just dismiss all of them. The agentic AI is saying, hey human, if I live within the constraint of what you think is right, can I just do it? And that is going to be the reality very, very soon, which you'll see, the agentic AI, which we are seeing out here. And as I say, the AI is no longer a tool or assistant, it's an agent, but increasingly, it is becoming a coach. So those of you who use Microsoft Copilot, I don't get paid to advertise them, but they're a great tool. They also have a coach version. What it basically means that when I write an email and I says, hey coach, tell me what should I do? It'll say, this doesn't sound like you. Maybe you've written in a hurry. Do you want to write it again? Or this is the word which you've written may get misinterpreted. Or once it actually told me saying that you're asking your team to do something, but you haven't given them instructions on how to do it. You are likely to get disappointed. Those are the kind of things where AI is becoming a coach and not just the action which it's doing. But this is something which I hear from a lot of people saying, everything has been done. What do I do? What do I do sitting in this room? Just come and listen and have a great thing. I want to tell you saying that everything which has been invented, which could be invented, has been invented is the thought which I had in my mind when I was 6 years old. And I say, wow, if I have to be invented, what do I invent? But funnily, I'll tell you this story, the story of wheel. The wheel was invented somewhere around 4th millennium BC, about, let's assume, give or take 6,000 years ago. That's when we created wheel. It didn't look like this. It had more edgy thing at that point in time, but this is the more refined wheel. 6,000 years ago, we invented wheel. We actually invented formal baggage about 200 years ago. So 200 years ago, people started to carry leather bags. Prior to that, people used to carry potlies. Okay, 6,000 years wheel for maybe about 200 years back. But it took 170 years for somebody to say, can we put the wheel under the bag so that the life becomes easier? So something which is so intuitive in the hindsight wasn't something an idea. So for 170 years, each one of us had an opportunity to invent trolley bags. We didn't. So the point I'm trying to make is that everything which could be invented hasn't been invented and possibly will never be invented, and therefore let's do something with AI. Let me ask you these 3 gentlemen. Do you recognize any of them? Steve Jobs. Somebody says Steve Jobs. He's the guy in the center. Okay. Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, very nice. Who's the boring guy? Okay. This guy, Steve Jobs, is known for creating Apple, Pixar, many other things. This guy is Mark Zuckerberg for creating Facebook, Meta, and all of that. The guy, the first out there, his name is Tim Berners-Lee, the guy who created internet. This is the guy who wrote the www protocol. If he hadn't done it, these 2 guys would have done nothing about it. The point I'm making is that we don't remember people who build foundation. We remember people who build products on top of that. And therefore, in the world of AI, if you want to have your way, you don't need to build an AI model. You need to build something using that AI model so that you can become the next Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg. And that's where I say that those people who invented refrigerator are rich. But those who invented a Coke can, which can go inside a refrigerator, became super rich. So making a refrigerator is a great idea, but you sell once. But putting a Coke can, so once you have the refrigerator, how can I get people to get addicted to drinking Coke when they want? And therefore, I say that in the world of AI, a lot of people are saying, let's make the big AI. No, please don't waste your time. It's not worth it. There are enough people who will make the big model. What will your model do? Because all of us have some great domain knowledge and what we can do with it. Then the question which I get asked, so what? But I'm not really getting value out of it. I've put AI, so much investment, nothing's coming. I'll tell you some why we are not getting good outcome from AI so far. The objective of thinking is to stop thinking. Now I'm sure you're all wondering, saying what I'm saying is counterintuitive. But I'm saying it, I'm right. The objective of thinking is to stop thinking. Human brain is very selfish. Okay? Did you know that human brain is about 2% of the body weight? For somebody like me, it's only 1.5% because I've got smaller brain and bigger body. But for most people who are smart, slim people, they have 2% of their body weight is in brain. But unfortunately, that guy who has only 2% of the body weight consumes 20% of the entire energy. So if you eat 1800 calories a day, 20% is going to the brain. And brain wants to be very smart and efficient. Says, don't spend energy because I need it. And that's why brain wants us to be lazy. Who wants to go for an exercise, right? You have to work hard. Otherwise, brain will say conserve, right? In fact, brain is so selfish. For people like me, it allocates the last in the priority for brain is skin. Skin doesn't matter, right? That's why I don't have hair here, right? And I'm losing them faster because it says, get nutrition somewhere else. Till you get nutrition, you're not going to get here. So what the brain says that every time you think, you're consuming energy. What brain says? Stop thinking. So it wants faster decisions. So if I have to say, I have to go out for dinner, where should I go? Masala library, Indian accent. It'll say decide fast. Because if you take 3 minutes to decide, you're consuming energy. So the concept of thinking is to stop thinking. And that is what the great life was. All the technology which you've seen in the past allowed us to become lazy about thinking. So if you look at it, let's say this remote control gave me choices saying, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you look at your SAP screen, it'll say cash flow statement, download this. Everybody has got the same menu. So the menu is forcing me to say, don't think. I've given you 3 choices. Click 1, 2, 3. In fact, nowadays the menu comes as, Netflix, Prime, YouTube. Don't even think. It is making all of us lazy. And brain loves it because I don't have to make choices. Unfortunately, AI, especially Gen AI, it gives you a chat box. What do you want to do? Now to think. It doesn't give me options saying, do 1, 2, 3. No. The options are in my mind. And therefore, AI systems will excite those who are lazy, but will excite even more those who are smart. And that's what I'm saying that, unlike the traditional system, which gave same outcome to the dumb user and the smart user, the AI will give smarter answers to smarter people. So how you frame your question will be more important than what system to use. And therefore I say that AI expects us to work. It expects us to think. And we need to be smarter in how we use AI because crafting a question is more important than just getting an answer. So don't chase the best AI engine and hopefully you'll get right. This is how I think I'll skip this in the interest of time. All right, so in my view, AI is not an evolution on technology, it's an evolution on human thinking. Now, AI has already learned to generate new information, interact with empathy. A lot of people used to say it no longer has empathy, it now has empathy, it has creativity, it can act as an agent. So what will AI do next? This is my imagination. I'm sure you may agree or disagree. In the future, think about 5 years ago, not right now. Right now, if you have to make money, what do? You either work hard, or some of you are smart, say, let me invest in this stock. Let me buy Anand Bazar Patrika, because I think these guys are doing great. Let's buy their stock. They will work hard, and I'll sit happily. Or let me buy Reliance share, let me buy Best BI shares. And all that. So I become a sleepy financial investor. But someday I say, can I actually run the businesses? That's too hard to run. And this is where my prediction is that in the future, you don't have to be just a lazy investor. You could actually have an AI and say, my guardrail is that I want 11% return. And I think I should be somewhere in the food business. What AI will do is that AI will, based on your goal, will shortlist business ideas, saying, what kind of food people should buy. It'll build a business plan because it's agentic. It'll establish contacts and contracts directly with those people who make that product. You don't need to get involved. It'll also market that product digitally. It'll drop ship because nowadays you got rocket ship and other people, and it'll collect money. And all you need to do is sleep. So as you sleep, AI will do work for you. Not only what work you want to do, it'll do work which you never thought you will do. It will do it for you. So therefore, I don't know whether this world will exist or not. I've not read it in any book. I've just my imagination, but I think half of it will be true, for sure. So how do we compare ourselves with machines? So if this is what machines start to do, let's say how the humans will look like. A good camera started to come into the market in 1975. So I'm going back 50 years. 50 years ago, the best camera you had in the market was 0.1 megapixel. It went on and on, etc., etc. The good camera which you have today, although most phones have about 50 megapixel, you can buy a 400 megapixel camera if you were to buy. Okay, but let me say, how long do you think it'll take for camera to become more capable than human eye? At what year the camera will become more capable than human eye? I'll give you the answer. It already is. The human eye resolution is 50 megapixels. A human eye cannot detect difference between a 6.3 and a 12.8 megapixel screen. So the real camera is already smarter. I'll give you a use case which I worked for an automobile company where they used to get cars. So when your car gets damaged, it comes for painting job. And the guy will say, oh, you got a black color car. It'll just say black and paint it. And you realize this black doesn't match with my black because this is original black and my car is faded black. So they use AI to actually detect what real black your car is. And it paints around that. So the average human eye can detect about 200 shades of color. The worst camera on planet can detect 16 million colors. And that is where, so when you combine lots of computational power with also sensory power, which we all thought humans had the gift of, I think the world will be at a different place. And I'm sure all of you are excited about all of this we're talking about is narrow AI. Someday we'll get to the general AI, and hopefully someday we'll also get to what's called the super intelligence AI. Let's see when we'll get to the super intelligence AI. This is not my model. This is the model by Nick Bostrom. I've just copied it. Okay. So this says that imagine this is the entire universe of humanity's intelligence scale. The dumbest person on earth is on this point, we'll call this point 10. And the smartest person, hopefully was Einstein or even more, is 100. So this is the scale of 10 to 100. This is how wide the scale is. And somebody like me could be maybe sitting here. Somebody like Kali might be sitting here. Some of you might be sitting here, etc., etc. But if I were to superimpose this scale on not humanity intelligence, but on the entire animal kingdom intelligence scale, how will it look like? At that point in time, it's here to here. We don't know the end. So if the village idiot is here, Einstein, unfortunately, is just here. That's the gap between the smartest human and dumbest human, because this is where we got the mouse, this is where we got the chimps. So the difference between the dumbest and smartest human is 1/20th between the difference between chimpanzee and human. Where is AI today? We don't know, but AI certainly has surpassed the chimpanzee level of intelligence. And it's taken, in my view, about 50 to 100 years. So in 50 to 100 years, we have come closer to somewhere between chimpanzee and human. But we all know the law of exponential return. Once it reaches the village idiot, how long will it take to become Einstein? The guess is that if it takes 100 years to get there, it'll possibly take 100 weeks. And then it'll become so much more intelligent that we won't know where it goes and stops. So with that kind of a thing, I want to tell you that what should leaders do? Be AI curious, not AI expert, because you may chase, you never be the expert. Insist on using AI for everything. A lot of time people say, I'll create this and then I'll give it to AI to polish it. No, bad idea. First ask AI and then get to it, because otherwise you'll get limiting outcomes. Demand AI insight in all business reviews. Create functional AI champions, because AI is not about one thing. It requires functional depth in each of the area. 2 in a box, human plus AI, and celebrate success. So those are some of these things. But before I go and end, there's a huge excitement about AI. But I also tell you that if I take you back to 1969, there was a huge excitement when American government put man on the moon. 1969, July 20th. Apollo 11, at that point in time, the cost of that mission was $355 million. And at that point in time, all the media painted the town saying, in the next X number of years, we'll have lunar colonies, we'll have the interstellar travel, we'll have space station, etc., etc. And there was a world painted for the next 10, 20, 30 years where humans will go and live on moon. Where do we stand today? The last person who went on the moon was 1972. And after that, there's no lunar colony, there's no great idea, and you don't hear about going to the moon. The reason is, whatever might be the case, the economics always wins. It was just not worth it to spend these hundreds and hundreds millions of dollars to go on moon to do what? So if you're spending that millions of dollars in your AI and don't know what and use it like a toy, think again. You just might be wasting your time. So with that, thank you very much. I think I really enjoyed, and I hope you did enjoy too. Thank you.